seat behind you. Sure. Hey, you're good. Okay.
Yeah, just let us know.
Like on the phone or something.
Or you can just come off.
Yeah.
It's new chairs.
We got new chairs. So this is the bound.
Did you find
Yeah.
Book. Hello.
Derek, Mr. Palmer has made it both times that he took over. So he might make it for a third time, but you could probably even do it if you wanted to. It'd be original for you.
How you doing, buddy?
I figure you're bringing a prop.
Gotta get a prop.
Stephanie, is this the same prop or is it a different prop?
No, it's the same prop.
This is actually it.
This is it.
Yeah.
She's got one too.
Just $1 million to print. Should make it bigger.
Joe, you didn't read that last night?
The Committee on House Administration will come to order. I note that a quorum is present. Without objection, the chair is authorized to declare a recess at any time. At the beginning of the 118th Congress, this committee took the important step of creating a new subcommittee to focus on implementing the recommendations of the bipartisan Select Committee on Modernization. Instead of letting the committee's recommendations gather dust on the shelf, we wanted to bring good ideas to life, and the Modernization Subcommittee is our vehicle for doing just that. I want to recognize Chairwoman Bice and Ranking Member Kilmer's leadership on these issues. Much of the work that the subcommittee does to make Congress a more efficient, more effective institution sometimes flies under the radar. The work is focused on improving and modernizing the way we work, which in turn helps the American people, and it makes a huge difference. All committees now have access to an e-discovery platform, which strengthens our ability to conduct effective oversight of the executive branch, one of our most important responsibilities here in Congress. The House now has its first collaborative workspace for staff on the 4th floor of the Cannon Building. The Capitol switchboard has finally been updated to provide offices with caller ID data, which enhances security and improves constituent services. And the AOC will soon be breaking ground on a new centrally located drop-off pickup zone for visitors with disabilities. These are just a few of the many wins the Modernization Subcommittee has achieved under Representative Bice and Representative Kilmer's leadership. And we all know there's a lot more to come. I also want to thank Ranking Member Morelli, Mr. Carey, and for all the work they've done to help make the Modernization Subcommittee a success. We designed the subcommittee to be uniquely bipartisan, with 2 members from each side of the aisle to encourage productive dialogue, and because achieving sustainable institutional change requires buy-in from all sides working together on behalf of the American people. Today, we're marking up 2 bills reported favorably out of the Modernization Subcommittee, and I'll take a moment just to note that I think I'm the first chair of this committee to say that in 31 years. It's been that long since a subcommittee of the Committee on House Administration held a markup and reported bills to the full committee. So again, we thank you, Chair Bice. Both bills will improve the way the Congressional Research Service works on behalf of Congress to better serve the American people. One eliminates the Constitution Annotated print requirement and moves it to a digital-only format. The other strengthens CRS's access to data and information so that the agency can better support Congress in all its functions. Both of these bills represent what modernization is all about. CRS needs to work in a way that reflects how Congress works. We're also taking up a committee resolution to authorize co-sponsored constituent services events. This is another important measure that the Modernization Subcommittee has been working hard on for several months. Thanks to the ongoing collaboration with the Ethics Committee, members' offices will now have more flexibility to co-sponsor constituent services events with qualified outside groups. For example, it'll make it easier for my office to meet with veterans in our district at the local VFW to assist them with casework inquiries. This change gives us more freedom to provide services and resources to our constituents, which is what we're here to do. These bipartisan measures are a big step forward for modernizing Congress. I look forward to seeing all of these pass in today's markup, and I'll now recognize the ranking member, Mr. Morelli, for 5 minutes for the purpose of offering an opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your opening comments, for the introduction, for bringing us together to consider 4 important bipartisan measures this morning. And I think I'm going to touch on each briefly, then that way I'll spare you having to listen to me on each 4 and help move the proceedings along. But like you, I want to, first of all, thank the Modernization Subcommittee and Chair Bice and Ranking Member Kilmer for their devotion to efforts aimed at improving the way this Congress functions and ultimately serves the American people. And I think taken collectively, I think all the items today on this agenda help fulfill the committee's duty to improve the day-to-day operations of the House so we can better serve our constituents and the public. The first 2 bills, as you've referenced, will consider efforts to strengthen the Congressional Research Service. For over a century, they have built a reputation for objective, nonpartisan policy analysis that serves this body. Harkening back to their earliest times, CRS unfortunately is still statutorily obligated to produce physical hardbound copies. I'm disappointed you didn't hold it, but you probably will during the next, when we actually take up the bill. Confirmed, thank you. It is one of those few props around here that you look at and go, oh, okay, I get it. You don't really need to say much more, but clearly it involves significant printing, staffing costs, and HR 7592 addresses this and helps to bring the process into the 21st century. Also, HR 7593 relates to CRS's statute, last touched, as I understand, in the 1970s, to ensure the agency can access important data from federal agencies to most effectively serve the institution, from our committees to our personal offices alike. Additionally, we're going to consider a resolution allowing funds for the paid House Committee Internship Program, an important program to ensure committees like ours can help grow the next generation of those folks interested in public service while we benefit from their perspective and hard work. And finally, as has been mentioned by you as well, additional updates to the members' handbook, including a change that will now allow offices to co-host and co-sponsor constituent events in their districts, again, based on a recommendation from the Subcommittee on Modernization. I agree with you that this is a great opportunity to work with various not-for-profit groups and the community-based organizations to really do greater outreach. So again, I want to thank you. I want to thank our colleagues on the committee, and in particular the staff on both sides for their work on these bipartisan measures. I think they will have a positive impact on the way we run the Congress as an institution, and I'm grateful for their continued work and look forward to their efforts in the future. And with that, I look forward to the markup, and I yield back. Thank you.
The gentleman yields back without objection. The opening statements of all other members will be included in the record as required by House rules. A substantive copy of the measures to be considered today have been made available to members and the public at least 24 hours in advance. I now call up H.R. 7592 to direct the Librarian of Congress to promote the more cost-effective, efficient, and expanded availability of the Annotated Constitution in pocket part supplements by replacing the hardbound versions with digital versions. The clerk will please report the bill.
H.R. 7592.
Without objection, the first reading of the bill is dispensed with, and the bill is considered read and open for amendment at any point. I now yield 5 minutes to Ms. Bice to speak on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Several months ago, CRS asked for the Modernization Subcommittee's help in getting 2 legislative measures introduced. The first measure, H.R. 7592, will replace the Constitution Annotated print requirement with a digital requirement. All 4 members of the subcommittee agreed that moving Conan, as this massive volume is referenced, to a digital-only format was consistent with our broader efforts to modernize CRS. And we all worked together to introduce this bill. Moving Conan to a digital-only format will streamline processes, increase efficiency, and improve the way CRS works on behalf of Congress. It'll also save taxpayer dollars. And the 2022 edition cost $1.25 million to produce. Meanwhile, an online version with real-time updates already exists and has millions of users. I urge my committee colleagues to check out the Conan website. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield.
The gentlewoman yields back. I now recognize myself for 5 minutes. When I became chair of the Committee on House Administration, some of the goal here was to modernize and to save money. And when you look at this book, that taxpayers are spending $1 million to produce every time it's produced. And it's immediately outdated when we have a free and available, timely and accurate online alternative. This legislation from Ms. Bice, from Mr. Kilmer, is a no-brainer. We can finally save taxpayers $1 million every time we do this. There is an alternative. It's more efficient. It's more effective. It's a small step, but it's a right step in the right direction to save $1 million and be more accurate. I'm supportive of the measure. I yield back. Does any other member seek recognition? The question now occurs on ordering H.R. 7592 reported favorably to the House. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chairs, the ayes have it, and the motion report is agreed to. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. I now call up H.R. 7593, Modernizing the Congressional Research Services Access to Data Act. The clerk will please report the bill.
H.R. 7592.
Without objection, the first reading of the bill is dispensed with, and the bill is considered read and open for amendment at any point. I now yield 5 minutes to Ms. Bice to speak on the bill.
Thank you, Chairman Stile. In addition to asking for the subcommittee's help in eliminating the Conan print requirement, CRS also asked us for help in strengthening their data and information access authorities. Once again, all 4 members of the subcommittee agreed that this change would improve the way CRS works on behalf of Congress. We also agreed that it is a good first step in the long-term process of modernizing CRS's authorizing statute. Strengthening CRS's access to federal agency data and information will help better equip the agency to support Congress in its legislative, oversight, and representative functions. When their work is held up by bureaucratic processes and procedures, our work is held up. That's unacceptable, and our constituents deserve better. I want to thank my subcommittee colleagues, Ranking Member Kilmer, Rep. Carey, and Rep. Morelli for their work on both of these very important bills. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield.
The gentlewoman yields back. Does any other member seek recognition to speak on the bill? The question now occurs on ordering H.R. 7593 reported favorably to the House. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion to report is agreed to. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. I now call up Committee Resolution 11833, resolution to approve allocation from the paid House Committee Internship Program to committees for 2024. The clerk will please report.
Resolution to approve allocation.
I move to strike the last word. As a former intern for 3 summers for my then Congressman and ultimately my Senator Richard Shelby, I can tell you how impactful that experience has been for so many, especially myself. I'm excited to support this resolution because my internship on the Hill helped me see that I could also make an impact on my community by serving as a member of Congress. Through the 118th Congress, though the 118th Congress is one of the most diverse Congresses in history, only 18% of the top staffers are people of color. So I want to encourage not only all students to apply, but especially students of color. This is an opportunity to diversify and to add their voices to the wonderful tapestry that is America. And I look forward to supporting this resolution, and I ask my colleagues to support it as well.
Thank you, Ms. Sewell. The gentlewoman yields back. Does any other member seek recognition? I now ask unanimous consent that the committee adopt Committee Resolution 11833. Hearing no objection, the resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. I now call up Committee Resolution 11834, resolution to amend the members' Congressional Handbook. The clerk will please report the resolution.
Resolution to amend the members'
Without
congressional.
objection, the first reading of the resolution is dispensed with, and the resolution is considered read and open for amendment at any point. Does any member seek recognition on this resolution? Ms. Bice is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Stile. I'd like to say a few words about the resolution authorizing co-sponsored constituent service events. We're voting on this today as an amendment to the members' handbook, but that doesn't quite capture the significance of this change. Figuring out the rules governing district-based events was a major source of confusion, and unfortunately, the fear of noncompliance sometimes led members' offices to forego hosting or participating in these events, even when they provide valuable constituent services. This is truly a shame because our top priority should be to effectively serve our constituents, and the rules should make it easier, not harder, for us to do that very thing. Previously, the Select Committee recommended providing more flexibility within House Rule 24 to allow member offices to co-sponsor constituent service events with qualified outside groups. The Modernization Subcommittee prioritized implementing this recommendation, and for the last several months, we've worked hand in hand with our colleagues on the Ethics Committee to find a path forward. This change is a major win for our constituents, and that's something every member should support. I want to thank the subcommittee colleagues, Kilmer, Carey, and Morelli, as well as our Ethics Committee colleagues for their support in getting this important recommendation implemented. And with that, I yield.
The gentlewoman yields back. Mr. Kilmer is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thrilled to lend my support to this, and thank the chairwoman of the subcommittee for her leadership and partnership on this. When we did the work of the Modernization Committee, a lot of this effort was to try to keep Congress from doing dumb stuff and enable Congress to do more smart stuff. It's legislative technical speak, but so just think about this for a second. Like, this is about whether members of Congress can co-host events with a nonprofit or with a state or local government. So this is working with your VSO to do a resource fair for veterans who are trying to enter the civilian workforce. This is working with your local nonprofit to help a first-time home buyer buy a home, right? This is working with your local workforce board to co-host a job fair. By the way, all things allowed under the rules in the United States Senate, previously not allowed in the House.
That's right.
I mean, that's dumb. We should fix it, right? That's what this is about, right? Like, this is like, stop doing dumb things, like, allow us to do smart things. So, you know, very grateful for Derek Harley and the staff of the admin committee and the ethics committee too, who we worked with on this. And thank you, Chairman Stile and Ranking Member Morelli, for your work on this. I think this is smart. A bunch of the other bills that we are voting out today are smart, right? Printing that big book, like, awesome on Arms Day, but like not super in terms of taxpayer dollars. Like, that's dumb. We should stop doing it, right? So, you know, trying to better support interns, that's smart. We should do it. So appreciate the support of the members of this committee for that. Encourage all of the members to do the same. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
The gentleman yields back. Does any other member seek recognition on this resolution? I now ask unanimous consent that the committee adopt Committee Resolution 11834. Hearing no objection, the resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. This concludes the order of business for today's markup pursuant to House Rule 11, Clause 2L. I ask that the committee members have the right to file with the clerk of the committee supplemental, additional, minority, and dissenting views on each of the items marked up today without objection. Also, without objection, the staff is authorized to make necessary technical and conforming changes. If there's no further business, I thank the members for their participation. Without objection, the Committee on House Administration stands adjourned.
Not bad.